CLNS Media Patriots Roundtable. I'm your host, Nick Qualia, sitting here with Marv and with Mike Molyneux. Sunday night, the Patriots lose to the Seattle Seahawks 35-30 in what was really an encouraging game if you're a Patriots fan. They proved that they can, in fact, play with the big boys. So, and Cam Newton back. So, the question, though, is with the secondary. Because the secondary on this team, Patriots obviously last year, one of the best defenses in the NFL. But this season, with the loss of Dante Hightower, Patrick Chung, you're going to have some concerns. Is this team going to look the same? I know those are two veteran guys, older guys, but they still have a massive presence on this defense. But specifically here, we're going to talk about the defensive backs. It was a tough receiving core that they faced yesterday. Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, very difficult. Stephon Gilmore on DK Metcalf, but they didn't look excellent, guys. They didn't look great. So the question is there a big reason right now after these 2 weeks to be concerned about the Patriots secondary? Mike, let's start with you. What do you think?
Yeah, it wasn't a real solid performance out of the New England Patriots secondary against the Seahawks. I mean, in my opinion, the secondary is the strength of this team, led by the Defensive Player of the Year to Stephon Gilmore, also led by a veteran guy who's been solid over many years as a New England Patriot in Devin McCourty. Coming out of last season, when you look at this defense, the secondary is solid. The secondary plays great. They got strength, they got speed, they got veteran leadership. And then Seattle, and to my understanding, I think Stephon Gilmore was covering DK Metcalf, I think, throughout that game. And Metcalf lit his ass up. Had a solid game against Stephon Gilmore. And Tyler Lockett, who is, their number one receiver, also had an amazing game with 7 receptions, 67 yards. Overall, Russell Wilson threw 5 touchdown passes. And a couple of those touchdown passes, especially the one he threw to Chris Carson, my man is down the field wide open, just has to catch the ball. No kind of defense really being played on him. It's just him and the ball, make a solid catch, and it's a touchdown. So it was very shocking to see that the secondary let that happen. Granted, yes, Russell Wilson, like Marv said in the previous video, this guy is probably the MVP in these first 2 weeks of the season. But again, the secondary, which to me, in my opinion, is the strong suit of this team, it's not looking as dominant as I assumed they would look. Granted, it's early in the season. I understand that. But if this team, which, like we've said before, the defense is probably going to be the strong suit because Cam Newton is not really passing to anybody right now. The defense probably is going to be the one to carry the team. And to start the game, it looked good with McCourty getting that pick 6 early on. I said, okay, here we go. Secondary making some plays, getting a defensive touchdown, great. But then they got torched the rest of the game. So hopefully we'll get back to seeing that strong secondary that we've seen in the previous season, and it'll go from there. I don't know what that was.
No, I mean, listen, I agree. I think right now it is difficult, though, to actually give really a full analysis. I think you can worry 100% about the defensive backs, mostly because the rest of the defense isn't great. Doesn't look great, especially that front 7. So if you're going to have a strength of this team, of the defensive side of the ball, it has to be the secondary, especially Stephon Gilmore. And he gave up 4 receptions to DK Metcalf. One of those, that big bomb of a touchdown. Those guys were scrapping yesterday. Don't get me wrong. Those guys were scrapping yesterday. They got into a little brouhaha off the sideline. But that big bomb that he had, that DK Metcalf caught, I don't know how much you can really blame Stephon Gilmore on that because he had good coverage. That was just a really good catch, really good ball placement there by Russell Wilson. I don't know how much you can really blame Stephon Gilmore for that, but no, you're right. I mean, for a second-year guy against the Defensive Player of the Year, Gilmore probably should have had a better game than he did against DK Metcalf. Marv, what do you think?
I'm not worried about the secondary at all. Not one bit from watching these past 2 games. Look, we're talking about the Seattle Seahawks that forced the Patriots to play a different style of defense that they're used to playing. Their Patriots' strength is, like you say, you have the defensive backs. They're going to hold their own, play man, one-on-one. You have to play zone when you face the Seattle Seahawks due to the fact of who Russell Wilson is. Russell Wilson is going to move around the pocket. You already know the linebackers are not going to catch Russell Wilson at all.
It's so frustrating as an opposing fan.
The defense changes with Russell Wilson. The Patriots were not playing at their strength. You look at the two bombs Russell Wilson threw to Metcalf and to David Moore. Those were perfect passes. Like Gilmore, you guys mentioned it. Gilmore was right there. He got beat and then he sped up. He was there. There was just a perfect ball placement. Same thing with David Moore. Jason McCourty was there. Perfect ball placement. I think the one thing we can look at and say, okay, that was a really blown coverage was the Swain touchdown, where once again Russell Wilson moving around the pocket. I think Adrian Phillips and Jason McCourty got caught looking at what Wilson was doing, and Swain was able to cut down the middle and beat them for the touchdown. But that's what Russell Wilson does. He changes how you play defense. And the times that they did go on man, Metcalf got the best of Gilmore. I think Russell Wilson targeted him 5 times, and he led up 3 completions. Gilmore's going to get better. The secondary is going to get better. There's nothing that I've seen today that really concerned me. Once they play to their strengths, get a couple weeks under their belt, this secondary is going to show why they're the best in this league.
They need to, and I totally agree. Again, just going back to those completions that Russell Wilson made, I think that more is a result of, rather than the Patriots secondary, what their skill level is, how they're playing lately. I think that's more to saying how good Russell Wilson is, because he puts that ball where nobody else can get it. Russell Wilson is playing at a crazy level in these first 2 weeks. And even going back to the first quarter touchdown, like, that wasn't bad coverage on Tyler Lockett. That was just a missile of a throw in the perfect spot from Russell Wilson.
And he bought time with that touchdown by moving into the pocket.
Yes, he did. So Russell Wilson is just playing at a crazy level right now. Yeah, sure. You can look at it and say they need to make those plays if they're going to be legitimate contenders down the line, because you're going to have to make those plays if you're going to beat good teams. That's just what you have to do in the NFL. But week 2, they're just going to get better. You got to hope, you got to assume. And if they don't, they're in trouble. But there's a lot of different things that you have to worry about rather than the secondary. Like, again, that front 7.
They got some more tests coming up. Mahomes right around.
All I'm going to say is if you had a kicker, you win this game. That's all I'm going to say. And we're not talking about this defensive back crew as much. You had a kicker, you win in this game.
Hey, I'm just saying, Gostowski right now, he's missing everything except for the clutch, crucial kicks that he needs to make.
We will no longer bring up that name on this show. Please. He's not here. We're all set.
All right, anything else before we wrap?
Hey, road's not going to get any easier from here, but let's see how the Patriots respond, how Belichick responds, and moves forward.
We're back into football season, baby. CLNS Media, Patriots Roundtable, Nick Qualia, Marv Azan, and Mike Molino. Guys, we're going to be back next week with another set of the Roundtable after the Patriots have the Raiders next week, correct? Las Vegas?
I believe so.
Yes, Las Vegas.
We got us some Vegas Raiders. We got us some Vegas Raiders next week. They have a great running game, so let's 100% we need to watch how that front 7 handles Jacobs, because that might be a bloodbath. Again, Nick Qualia, Marvazan, Mike Molino. Guys, we're going to be back next week with another set of the Roundtable. We'll talk to you then. Thanks for watching.